Hello, my name is Perry, and for the last 10.5 years I have owned and lived on a beautiful 55-foot narrowboat, but very recently I changed my lifestyle and I now live in a gorgeous bijou cottage in North Wales, and I'm looking forward very much to enjoying life on land again. It's going to be another adventure. I have a transit van that I converted into a camper called Tilly Teacup, and we go on little adventures. I also craft and weave, and this is my life in a teacup. Good morning, peeps. And relax. How are you all? Hope you're all great and well, and finally we've got a bit of sunshine. It's been pouring with rain here in lovely Wales, as it does. But right, first of all I want to say thank you so much to everybody for sticking and watching the whole of my last vlog and seemingly enjoying the 9 minutes of driving through what I think was the edge of the Cairngorms when I was in Scotland a couple of weeks ago. So a lot of you seem to really enjoy it. I've got a few snippets left over that I didn't upload onto the channel, and I might dig through them and sort of pop, but they won't be as long this time, but pop a little bit on the edge of this one. This one's going to be a little bit different again because a few of you have asked it's been a long weekend. Shall I start that again? A few of you have said that you would like to see me make a lampshade. Now, what I'll do is I'll go through I think I said to you before, I'll go through the processes, but I'm not going to sit here and make the whole thing. I'll show you snippets of how to do each bit, and then, yeah. So, I've got here lots of remnants because I won't pay the money, really, unless a client asks me to, of course, but I wouldn't pay the money when I'm making them to sell directly, the ones that I make myself, for gorgeous big meters or whatever of fabric, because a lot of fabric these days you have to buy in a meter. They don't like to do half a meter or whatever. So as I'd mentioned before, I found this fabulous fabric shop, and excuse me, that's going to come off this table in a minute, because you know what I'm like. I'm always spilling something. Do you remember a couple of vlogs ago I chucked it all over myself? Yeah, so I think remnants helps keep the cost of the shades down. Also, alongside this, I'm going to show you pictures of the batch of ones that I did for the shop, the finished ones, all of them. I think there were about 6 or something like that. So I've got a little video that I made of them all out on display here, so I'll pop that alongside as well. And also I'll put a picture up, and I think a little vlog, a little clip of the fabric that I showed you where I was going to do double-sided. Do you remember I was talking about the one with the copper and pink tones in it, and there was a sort of pinky salmony pink that would go inside? That came out fabulous. I was really pleased with that. So I've got this sort of fabric here. I've also got bits of wallpaper, just offcuts, little bits of wallpaper there. We'll pop that down there. There's some more fabric here. Quite muted colours on these, because I've got some that are already, as you know, quite bold. Now this, this is a scarf. I've not experimented with thinner fabric before, so we'll try this. So this was a scarf that I picked up at a charity shop. The reason I picked it up is because already at the end of it, it's got like fringing that would hang down from a shade. It needs a really good steam iron, only to get the fabric a bit flat, because it is a little bit flimsy, so the flatter it is, the easier it is to work. I'll cut off the fringing and I can put it round the end or the top. I don't know what I'm going to do. So it'll be interesting. I think what I might do with that one is then also, this is the linings now. So when we line, 9 times out of 10, this is the lining. Okay, so it's sticky on one side. I think I mentioned it before. And there's the lining. Usually it's white lining, but you can buy different coloured lining. You can get it to make the double-sided, like I said, and you can get it in gold and bronze, copper, and I think silver, but the metallics are quite, I mean, this was quite expensive. I mean, one of these for a 40 centimetre shade was over £10. because I have them bought, I buy them in to cut, the company cuts them for me. So yeah, that was just for so it does make them quite expensive. So this is for a smaller shade, and I think what I'm going to do is put that on the outside and that on the inside, and I think that might be quite nice. I'm not going to make that today, but I will show you maybe in the next vlog if I've made it, but that's what I'm going to do. So what you need is your fabrics or your papers or whatever you choose, and then you'll need your frames. Now this one's a square round, as they call it. Oops. That's a 20 centimetre. And that's a 30 centimetre. And obviously we need the two because you need the top, whichever way you're going to do it, the top and the base. There you go. Also, when you buy a lot of frames in, tell you a good tip, because this is how I start. When I started doing this, rather than spend lots of money on buying brand new, I'd go to a charity shop and buy a shade for about £2 or £3, thrift store I think they're called in the States, and I just take off everything so it would only leave me with the rings. The only thing was, the rings were some of them were a bit rusty and a bit dirty, but it was only to do samples. They didn't go anywhere. They just stayed with me and then got dismantled again. But it was a cheap way of trying to see whether I would enjoy this and do it. So when you buy your frames, okay, your rings, I think this is it's done for both Europe and the UK. So you can get this as well, that you can just pop in. Because obviously some shades, where you sit this on the light bulb fitting, this bit is a little bit bigger or smaller or whatever. So you can get that when you buy it, you get that as well. And you can clip that in there. So it brings down the circumference of the hole in the middle. So it'll fit universally, really. Okay, so that's your frames that you will need. So you'll need your covering, your lining, your frames, and this. And again, I think I said before, extremely sticky double-sided tape. That's a good fabric scissors if you're cutting fabric to make the cut nice and clean. And then don't forget your pokey in thing, whatever it was I called it. So I'm going to make a start. What I'll do is I'm going to choose my wallpaper now, and I'll show you what I've chosen on this occasion. Is it this one or is it this one? Let's have a look. Oh, I think I'm going to use this one. Right, hold on a second and I'll point the camera down. I hope you can see that. I think you can. So this is a piece of just a strip of wallpaper that I had lying around. I've had it for years. I bought it for something else. I used to do interior design, and I think I bought a roll, and me and my client were playing with it. So to see whether it would match, and this was a little bit that was left over. I'm going to make a 20 centimetre shade. So I've got my wallpaper and I've got my lining. Now, if you have a look at this, I'll try and find it. Can you see where that bends over there, like that? And you can hear it snapping. The idea is you will cut your fabric or your paper to the whole of this, okay? But when you go to peel back, what you will do is, well, I think I'll show you that bit. It's a bit difficult to explain, because that will come off, leaving you with a couple of centimetres there of fabric or paper to do your tucking in. So that's what you need to tuck in around the ring itself. So I'm going to cut that out and I'll come back to you. So there we go. I've cut out this piece and here's the lining. And the idea is, now I have to sort of work in a certain way. So I'm just going to, right, can you still see me? Yeah. So remember I said about these bits at the end, you'll see what happens. They stick down as well. So that's what the shade will look like on the other side. And what I do is I call this altered papers, because whilst this is a paper that's already pre-designed, I gold leaf it and things like that, just to, you know, and draw on it and things, just to make it a little bit different. So What you do then is you peel back the backing, okay? Oops. So peel that off. Now this is where it can get a bit tricky because it does get a bit sticky, especially if you're using paper, because once it's down, it's very difficult to get off. With fabric, you can, if you misjudge how you've laid it down, you can just peel it off, there's no problem. What you do is you start to peel this paper off. You lie that down there. You're basically sticking it onto the paper. So let me just stick that on and I'll come back to you. Okay, so I've stuck that on. It was just easier because I was trying to talk to you and make sure that this was going straight down the sides. So all you need to do then is just make sure that it's all stuck on nicely. And then do you remember the side bits I told you about? What you do is you just snap them. So you bend it on each side and you'll hear it snap where it's parting from the main body of the lining. Did you hear that? There you go. Doesn't always snap, but as long as you get it folded over, that's fine. There we go. It's nice and smooth on the outside. Turn it back over, and then all you do is peel that off. You don't do anything with that, you just basically throw it away. So you peel that off, and then this here becomes the bit that you tuck around the ring, and you use your tucky in thing. Okay, there we go. It's all stuck down. And what I do, again, it depends whether you're using fabric or paper to make the edges when you join quite nicely. And again, it depends on the thickness of the fabric or the paper, whether it frays or not. You cut that one flush, okay, with the back of the lining. And I always leave a little bit at the end hanging over so that I can fold that over. That will get stuck down. And then when you join this like that, you've got a really nice finish, okay? Now, I don't pattern match. You can do, but when it's something like this, you don't need to. Some fabrics and papers, or even when I print my own papers, my own fabrics, you can pattern match, but you know, it's the back of the shade, usually, in the corner by a wall. So the next bit is to just glue that down, and I use some of this double-sided tape, okay? So I don't think you can see, can you? Let's turn that, just bend the camera down a bit. There you go. So I've already cut with my non-fabric scissors and folded over a little bit there. Put my glasses on, otherwise I won't be doing anything. And then you get the tape, whoops. You put it on directly onto the lining there, like that. Just a little strip at the end. I say it's ever so sticky. It's quite a pain to work with though, sometimes, I have to be honest. It really is it's stickier than sticky tape, but it's good because obviously you need it for the fabric. And then you just peel that off, peel the red backing off. It leaves behind the tape, and you just really force that over so you get a nice smooth line at the end. There we go. Now, like I say, not everybody does this, especially with papers. You could just cut it and you do get a nice fine edge. But I don't know, I like to sort of fold it over a little bit. So, and then what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of red tape on here so that when they join, I can peel off the backing and that will stick. Now this tape is specifically for lampshade making. It's not just some old random tape that I bought on Amazon. It's actually made for lampshade making. So that's the lining done. Sorry, the fabric with the lining done. So I'll put that to one side. Now the next bit is the bit I hate the most, actually. Well, no, it's the tucking in I hate the most. Let's pop you back up so you can see me. Right, so what I have to do now is, with this tape, I have to put that all around here and all around here. So I'm not going to bore you with that. I'll do it and then I'll come back to you. Hold on a sec. Tape's on. This is where I get in a real mess, because this one's okay because you can take the tape off and it will sit like this. But this one, the bottom hoop, once you've taken the tape off, anytime you touch it, you're sticking to it, you put it down, it sticks, but it's just the nature of the game, really. Once you put the tape on, what you have to do is you just have to squeeze all the way around so that tape really is tucking in around this. I hope you're enjoying this because I'm not a professional teacher, so because I babble on like I do, I probably go off from one tangent to another. But yeah, so you just squeeze all of that there, and you do the same to the other one, obviously. At my friend Kath here for the weekend. That was quite good fun. We went up to Llangollen, and I'll put some pictures of this because we actually went through the fields and down to the very bottom of the very famous Aqueduct. I'm sorry, I can't say it. I'm going to learn how to say it. But it's a really famous aqueduct and it carries canal water. And it was built in the 1700s. I mean, it's incredible. Thomas Telford, I think, was one of the main architects and builders of it. And it's quite an iconic monument, if you like. I don't know it's not a monument, but it is an iconic structure. That's the word I was looking for, in Wales. And I'll put some pictures because, again, you can't understand the vastness of it, but I'll tell you how high it is and everything when I pop the pictures on. And I think I took a little video as well. And as I say, it carries the canal. So the Llangollen Canal goes over the River Dee, and this is built on the River Dee. And let's say when you look up, there's big canal boats going over. I never took my boat over there. And I suppose the main reason is I never came up this far north in the boat. I went sort of Stratford and the Midlands and things like that, but I never came up to North Wales or to the north of England in the boat. But with the viaduct, the aqueduct, there's a fence on one side and you can walk over it. And I didn't, because I'm not very good with the heights. But on the other side, you can't walk, obviously. But if you're in your boat and you look down, it is a sheer drop. There's no fencing, no nothing. So if you happen to topple off your boat the wrong way, you've had it. But yeah, so let's take the tape off of these. I'll have to put my glasses on to do this bit so that I can find the ends of the tape. Right, let's start with this one because I can sit that down. Where's the end? Oh, there. No, where is it? Oh, there it is. Right. It's always best to leave like a little gap so that you can pick at the tape when you put the tape round. So, oh, come on, don't play up now. Right, so take that off. Now I'm going to sit that down like that. This is going to be a nightmare because it's going to stick to everything now. And I've got nothing I can... I'll lean it on its sticky tape, but every time you touch it. Right, so I have to stand up for this bit. So let me reposition you guys. Now, I've got this cup only to stand these against. Okay, if you have a pattern that's obvious and it has a right way up, you must remember which side to put this, okay? So you have to think that this bit has to go inward. And again, if you're going to use it, whichever way you use it, you must remember that this goes on the side that makes sure that the pattern is the right way up, okay? And this never goes outward, it always goes inward. On this one, it doesn't matter, the pattern's neither here or there. So the idea is you pop that. Am I doing this the right way round? Because that goes over there. Hold on a second, let me get my thoughts. That will go over and over and over. No, let's start this way. Okay, so I don't think it actually matters which way I start. So there, it's stuck on, but if I pop that there, it leaves my hands free to get this other sticky bit. And what you're doing is you're actually putting this right on the edge of the lining, not on the fabric or the paper, but right on the edge of the lining. Oh, see, this is it. Now, you can see, but this is just the way it is. It's just what happens. Let's take the cup away. And then all you do is you start to roll. And as you roll, try and keep it straight. You see how everything's sticking? Eventually, once it picks up, you do get your momentum, and then you just start to touch it from the bottom. So you roll it along, just making sure that it's staying to the edge of the lining. Like I said, the edge of the lining, not on the fabric. And then you keep doing that until you rolled it up. So bear with, and I'll come back to you. Excuse me. Most of it is done, and all I want to do now is just show you putting this edge on. So again, you take the tape off, or the red, not the tape, but you know what I mean. The red, it's always a bit difficult to get this off, separate the two. I'll be with you in a minute, I promise. See, this is why I don't want to go show you the whole process bit by bit, because some of it can be really boring because you're trying to do things and the time and everything. So, and all you do then is you bring that up, just flatten the middle a little bit, and so now that, funny enough, is a little bit not straight. So what it means is I've obviously gone over the edge. Remember I said you must stay to the edge of the lining, and there we go. Now I've got a roller, it's tucked away at the minute, and then what you do is you turn it over like that, and where the lining is, can you see? I don't know if you can see that there. You just sort of you can either press it down with your finger, or you can use a roller. Now, the tucking in process, you can see this. All we do now is you start to tuck that paper over, okay? So I will do the majority of it now, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. There we go. I've done the underside, and I'll just show you. You see, you're just tucking that over, and what's happening is that's grabbing the tape, the double-sided tape that's underneath. Okay, so that's the sort of margin, hemline, whatever you want to call it, residue that was left by the tape that we ripped off. Do you remember when we ripped off the lining strip? So there's a word for it. I think it's called a kiss something or other, I don't know. Right, so that's as far as it's got now, all right? And all I do now, and again, I'm not going to go through the process because this is the thing that takes the longest. I normally sit down of an evening while I'm watching some rubbish on Netflix or something and do this, but you get your tucky in thing and you literally take the shade. I don't know if you can see, you know you can't see from there. Let's have a look, let me see if I can come around this way, if you can see it. So you take your shade and you literally, with this, just start to tuck in, okay? It is a bit of a process, but that's all that does, is you're tucking the paper, the fabric, whatever you're using, behind the ring itself until you get a really nice, smooth. I mean, it takes some time to do, and like I said, I'm not gonna, let's bring you back up so I can chat to you. Yeah, I'm not gonna go through the whole process because it can be a bit laborious, but I'm gonna do some shades today, and when I've finished, I'll come back, because I'm not gonna upload this at the moment. Obviously, I've got lots to add to this, but look at that. That's quite pretty, isn't it? And that was just an offcut. But I changed this because I will then do some gold leafing, a little bit of marquetry on it or something, I don't know. But that's a lovely little, or it will be when it's finished, 20 centimetre lampshade. Hope you enjoyed that, and I will be back with you later. Bye. Hello. Just popping on here to say, because I did mention that I would show some of the finished shades, and I did make a separate video showing the shades and explaining them and everything as I'd made them, but it would make this vlog really long. I mean, it's long enough as it is. Oh, hang on a sec, my kettle's going. And I'm back again. Gotta have my cuppa. That's quite hot, it's just me. Yeah, so I just wanted to say I will put another vlog on. Instead of doing it in a couple of weeks, I will literally put it up in the next couple of days, just showing you the finished shades. So I'll leave you to enjoy the views of Llangollen when I went up, as I mentioned, and a little snippet, one of the leftover snippets of my journey through part of Scotland. Hope you've enjoyed what you've seen, and I hope you enjoy what's to come, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. This is the Pont Cysylltau Aqueduct in Llangollen that spans over the River Dee. It is 126 feet high, that's 38 metres, and 307 metres long. It was started in 1795 and was completed in 1805. Look how high it is. I mean, that's incredible. And if you look at this shot, if you see the railings right on the top there, that's the canal. And that's the railings on one side. It's amazing. This little section is 7 minutes and 9 seconds long, and I'm driving through the last part of my Scottish trip down through the Trussocks. I had stayed the night before at Loch Nattering, which was wonderful, and as you know, I had a fabulous time in Scotland. I'm leaving it in the pouring rain and driving down to England onto the Lake District, where I will stay overnight at Windermere. So it's not as interesting as previous views of Scotland, because of the lots of trees and lush greenery and everything. You can't really see the vistas and the landscape, but the music's quite nice. Maybe stick with it, maybe don't, but whatever you do, take care, and I will see you next time. Bye.